I'm glad to announce that the Equitable has committed to purchase One Main Place for $40.5 million on an arrangement whereby the existing owners will continue to participate in the net earnings of the property, and where we will engage W.T. Overton to continue to manage the property and plan it for the future the same as he has in the past. In addition to this, we have committed a mortgage loan on phases 2 and 3. This is what we call a land loan, where we are secured by the land, and this in the amount of $8,300,000 will free some of the equity funds that have been invested in this project over the many years from the time it was first started to be assembled, I guess 12, 13 years ago, to go ahead and get started on phase 2.
The FHA has had low-cost housing programs for some time to help low-income families. One of the problems, though, has been that building houses new and planning them is time-consuming. The program that we're in now is one where old and deteriorating houses will be purchased and be rehabilitated, brought up to current standards, and then sold to people in low-income brackets.
But many of your students, because they are bright and because they are poor, do end up as rebellious or in rebellion.
Very frequently, our youngsters are from slums and ghettos and reservations where they've just had no reason to go on living, really. And they're suspicious of a society that's allowed that to happen. They may be hostile. I think a good many of them are hostile. They're suspicious. We have to prove to them that this country is for real and that our response is for real. We mean really to get them into college. We don't mean to betray them someday and leave them hanging somewhere. And it may take 2 or 3 or 4 years to get through their hostilities. It doesn't really take that long. I think one summer of an excellent upward bound program can remove many hostilities from youngsters who had come very angry about the society. One summer can do that. I've been a project director in the field, and I know in one summer the hostilities that were there at the beginning of the summer have been replaced by enthusiasm and commitment at the end of the summer.
A permanent injunction was entered late this afternoon against the welfare mothers and SNCC leaders. This forbids them from being in the state welfare offices except during official business hours and for official business. Also, they were found in contempt of court for their sit-in actions last week after they were temporarily restrained from that sit-in at the state welfare office there. Judge Hoyt Armstrong sentenced the group to 72 hours in the county jail, but suspended the sentence to 6 months. After the court was recessed, I tried to get some comments from the welfare mothers and the SNCC leaders.
Well, we can't make any statement now until we're advised by our lawyers, our attorneys.
You feel that it was a fair judgment?
No comment.
How do you feel this turned out?
No comment.
Later, I tried to talk with the defense attorneys. Their only comment was, "We have decided to make no public statements." It was a tedious 2 days here in court. Testimony was only heard from a few of the many scheduled witnesses. A lot of consultation on legalities took place, mostly behind closed doors. Here at the Dallas County Courthouse, Carl Mayer reporting.
Well, what's wrong with it is really a little premature. It's what it's going to become that I'm worried about. It's on a path right now, and it's not on the path that I like. It's a matter of procrastination. It's a matter of not effectively going after the type of leadership that I think the organization needs.
WFAA TV is delighted to give you this is a symbol of about $4,000 worth of sporting equipment for you to use on the war on poverty, including things like about 200 baseball bats, 19 base sets, 35 dozen golf balls, and then softball bats, volleyballs, baseballs, footballs, nets, and so forth. We're delighted to be able to give them to you, and you put them to good use. How are you going to use them?
Well, there isn't any doubt at all, Jack, but we appreciate this very, very much. And as far as you're giving them to me, I'm thankful that you're not giving them to me. That they will be used and distributed quite evenly in a number of areas, present target areas at the War on Poverty services. And we have, as you can well see, a number of young people that will be very eager to use this equipment. We have currently operating right now 4 neighborhood centers with a number of young people who will be very happy to get the basketball, the volleyball, and in the spring and summer the baseball equipment. And I'm quite certain that there isn't any doubt at all that this equipment will be put to good use.
No way. Program for hardcore poverty youngsters, not always the most pleasant youngsters, that is, not always the best behaved youngsters. They're from ghettos and reservations and slums, where they've had little incentive, little reason to be first-class citizens, and they sometimes are hostile. They're bright, but sometimes hostile, and there's a possibility that this program, because it does work with a risky kind of student, though we've done very well with those students, there's a possibility that because we do work with risky students, someone might think we ought to work with less risky students and take only those well-behaved, quiet, poor youngsters who are making straight A's. I personally oppose that because there's no point in trying to prove that a kid who's making straight A's in high school can make it through college. Of course he can. It's the hundreds of thousands of others who are not making straight A's, who are going to substandard schools, who are kind of hostile and left out of the mainstream that we've been working with, and I think the program ought to remain just what it has been in the past. There's a chance that it won't. And, of course, there's a very good chance that it will remain that.